Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour. It's a great pleasure to be on Ottawa, this amazing city, and see the energy in the room. My name is Cristina Caballé. I am the IBM Global Public Sector Leader. This means that I have an amazing job because I travel around the world, and I am delighted to be serving government clients in their digital transformation journeys, and also, of course, leverage the latest, most innovative technologies to embrace the challenges of the present and the future. I would like today to talk about a recent study that my team has been working on, and this is what we call building a future-ready government, because I think that it connects very well all the topics that have been discussed so far today and that will be discussed in the next sessions. What makes this study very important is that we took a sample of government leaders and organizations across all over the world, and we analyzed what has been happening in the last 5 years. And this comprises more than 650 organizations across 44 countries. Of course, Canada was very well represented in this report as well. And what we did is we analyzed what has made organizations successful over the last 5 years. So the pandemic was a turning point, but since the pandemic, we've been seeing constant innovation moving forward. And we wanted to analyze what is behind the successful organizations, what are the commonalities between successful organizations, and how we could use these lessons learned to better design transformation journeys, embracing all the technologies that we will be discussing. So maybe if you can pull the charts over there, because I didn't get OK, yeah, it's here. Thank you so much. OK, so let's go for it. Building future-ready governments. This is how we become better prepared for the future, but at the same time, of course, investing in today. And in the foreword of this study, I took a quote that is very similar to quotes you have heard from Rahm Emanuel, from Roosevelt, Churchill, and even Machiavelli during the Renaissance, which is never allow a good crisis go to waste, because it's a great opportunity to do the things that you never thought would be possible. This means that you can always take a bad experience, a crisis, a conflict, an emergency, and turn it into an opportunity to learn, to capture these lessons learned that will help us build improved capability today, or survive, as we were saying before, but at the same time, build capability for the future. And as I said, what we did is we tried to get a very consistent sample across different government agencies. So we had defense organizations, we had public safety, social security, treasury, healthcare, so a vast variety of organizations, because we wanted representation from the different disciplines of government, and we also had very good representation across the different locations, geographies in the world. The outcome was kind of set up in a context which is government leaders believe that we just got started. So the global pandemic was a turning point. It was a wake-up call. But we acknowledge that the future will be even more complex. There will be compounded global shocks. And this means not only one shock at a time, but it means that we might have other emergencies for which we will have to be prepared, whether it's a cybersecurity threat, whether it's climate change, resilience, energy transition, supply chain disruption, the wars we are already experiencing in the world. So there are a vast variety of shocks, of future shocks, or present shocks that are already interconnected and creating an impact. And this impact, according to our study, our work with these government leaders from across 44 countries, these shocks will only increase in intensity and also in frequency and impact in the future. So we need today to acknowledge that this is happening and will continue happening, and we need to look back to these last 5 years and say, what have we learned from 2019 until now? And it's very interesting to see that one of the main outcomes of our work is that we see that consistently every year governments have been improving their mission capability and their readiness rate. But of course, we need to continue doing that, so we cannot fall into complacency, because we know that the environment is changing very fast. And there are also new technologies that will help us embrace this level of innovation to improve the way that we set up resources to carry the government missions. So this is how we measured over time how mission capability and mission readiness rate is improving consistently, as you see here. And this is statistically, so that's why you see these shapes, kind of diamond shapes, because statistically, the average across the world shows that we are progressing in the right direction. But is it fast enough? Of course, we went into deeper detail, and this study is public, so I will also provide you the link at the end of the presentation, and you can come to the booth later today if you want to get more details. But what is very interesting is that the main factors that help explain the government transformation pivot around technological maturity, cybersecurity maturity, also was mentioned by the minister before, empowerment of the workforce. So it was proven that empowerment of the workforce creates this higher engagement of the workforce, and it creates also higher engagement with citizens and constituents. And last but not least, embracing the ecosystem of partnerships. So having a gathering of the minds and getting the best experts across many different fields, not only from government, but public-private partnerships were proven to be very successful to help governments across the last 5 years. And we had also very interesting finding, which was we kind of segregated our results and discovered that we could identify a high-performing group that we called the transformation group, and a group that was not performing that well according to a list of KPIs, and that group, we called it the slow and steady group. So that second group was more cautious, while the first group, the transformation group, was having the courage to embrace technological disruption, to embrace innovation, to give trust to the workforce, but also have trust in citizens, and did things in a different way. So when we look at the whole sample of the government organizations we work with, the transformation group represented approximately 10% of all the group. But we focused on what were the key elements that made this transformation group so successful. And those elements were organized in dimensions like innovation, agility, data management, so identifying which are the crown jewels in your data and managing it properly with the right level of governance. Also, the employee engagement, the constituent citizens engagement, and the environmental sustainability practices. So these were kind of like the broad dimensions where KPIs were organized to identify this transformation group. And going a little bit deeper, the transformation group also highlighted 6 key domains related to technologies, like AI and generative AI, as we've been also discussing so far, cybersecurity, cloud computing, automation, and analytics. So this was scientifically proving to make these organizations be the transformation group, be the best performing group, having higher levels of trust with citizens, having higher levels of citizen engagement, the highest number of transactions being served, addressing the increased demand in public services during the pandemic and beyond the pandemic. So we took all these learnings, and of course, my team is, the mission of my team is to help governments do even better. So this transformation group gave us also the inspiration to design a framework which sets the most popular use cases of AI and generative AI to serve government organizations in different segments, whether it's defense and intelligence, as you see in dark blue in the chart, or citizen services, so civilian government, where we went through public and justice, customs, immigration and border management, travel and transportation, tax and revenue management, social services, and so on. And for each of the government segments, we define use cases that would provide benefits in productivity and efficiency, in user experience and services, and also in technology modernization. So for example, in productivity, we found many use cases focused on content summarization or new content creation, how we would, for example, summarize doctrines and policies, how we would help audit better the different domains, how we would help counterfeit fraud, and of course, the kind of transversal use cases that are directed to help speed up transformation towards an AI and Gen AI enabled government. And I will take also the opportunity to say that this event has a perfect timing, because today IBM has announced this morning what we call IBM Granite 3.0, which is the most comprehensive generation of AI models, LLM models, with the most advanced capabilities to deliver safe and trustworthy AI. So this is kind of like the technology that will help us implement all the use cases that you see in this government framework on the screen. And last but not least, I would just like to say that we kind of uncovered a high-level recipe for success, looking at what the transformation group did over the last 5 years versus what the slow and steady group was doing, or what other groups in the average were doing. And it's very interesting to help nowadays build digital transformation processes and journeys for governments, taking these insights as a foundation. So this is what my team is doing. One thing that I mentioned is that we cannot fall into complacency. So IBM has been also a client zero of all these recommendations that we unveiled. And we have been, for example, in the last 2 years, we have been reducing the number of human interactions in HR and automating all these processes with our employees using new Gen AI tools. And we got an impressive response from our employees in IBM. So imagine a large number of employees that now have access to HR instantaneously and can solve any HR issue instantaneously. Of course, you always have second and third level support where you have the human interaction, but the combination of digital Gen AI-based and human interaction has been amazing and has helped IBM save billions while at the same time delivering a better employee experience. And this is something that we are doing internally as a client zero, but at the same time, we are also applying it to the customer service we offer to clients in technology and consulting services. And one reflection is that while governments globally are mobilizing to seize these opportunities around AI, there are, of course, challenges. So we need to do this safe and trustworthy AI transparent, secure, compliant, and this is why we are working with you all to make sure that we have this right balance between being cautious and being courageous. So I encourage all of you to come visit our IBM Experience Zone, meet me, meet my team, and looking forward to working with you all. Thank you so much for your attention. Merci beaucoup. You have here the QR code, so if you take a picture, you will be able to download not only the study I was talking about, but also many other studies that are in the series that we call Building a Future-Ready Government and also Preparing Governments for Future Shocks. So thank you so much for your attention. Again, thanks.